For adjacent and non-adjacent angles, we are going to do my example. What happened to it? All right, Lily, make sure you have your foldable. Okay. So for adjacent and non-adjacent angles, we're going to do 2 diagrams with a definition. Okay. So on the first side, we're going to do adjacent angles. And then on this side, we're going to do non-adjacent angles. So first, I'm going to draw a diagram of adjacent angles, and I want you to think about what makes them adjacent. So I'm going to draw just like an acute angle like this. It doesn't necessarily have to be acute. It could have been obtuse or right or straight. A vertex here. And then I'm going to draw another ray. Kind of goes up like this. So these are adjacent. And I'm going to mark both angles here. So we have this angle, we have this angle. And now I'm going to draw an example of non-adjacent. So here's an example of non-adjacent. So tell me in the chat, what makes the angles on the left adjacent? What do they share? Oh, we're blurry again.
A vertex.
A vertex, that's one thing. What else? Good, they're together. There's something specific they share. So besides a vertex. So this is right here. This is their shared vertex. And then we have this right here is what they also share. What is that called?
Ray.
Ray. Good. Shared ray or aside. And so let's write a definition. I'm going to write a definition. I'm going to cross here. I might cross my line a little bit. Adjacent angles share a common ray, which is also called a side, and a vertex. All right, if you need more time, let me know. If not, I'm going to go on to the next one. Are you good? Okay. Tess, are you doing this too, Rodney? Are you good? Did you get it? All right, let's go on to complementary and supplementary. Make sure you guys can see it. Okay. All right, so for this one, we're going to split our paper. Two sides. We're going to go just like this. Again. And on the left side, we're going to write complementary. And on the right side, we're going to write supplementary. All right, so if I'm going to draw a diagram for complementary angles first, what do you think? How might I start that? What kind of angle might I draw to start it? Eden, what might I draw?
Right angle.
Right angle. Awesome. So you're going to try to make as neat of a right angle as you can here. And you can put a little box in the corner. It's right angle, 90 degrees. And then from the vertex, just draw another ray coming up like this. So you have adjacent angles that are, we have angles that are adjacent and complementary. And then let's put some angle measures in, and we're just estimating here. I'm going to say this bottom angle is about, looks like about 40 degrees. So if those are complementary angles, type in the chat to me, please, what is that this missing angle here? What's that measurement going to be? It is going to be my cursor. There we go. It is going to be 50 degrees. Okay, because our definition of complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. They make a right angle if you put them together. One way to remember, if you get confused on complementary and supplementary, is complementary starts with the letter C, and also the word corner starts with the letter C. All right, if I'm going to draw a diagram for supplementary angles, what should I start with for supplementary angles? What do you think?
Line.
So I'm not sure if that was Lily or Addie, but whoever it was, go ahead. Say that again.
Straight line.
Straight.
It's Addison.
Sorry, Addison. Okay, so start with the straight line. And let's draw a vertex in the middle. And then you can draw any ray coming up off the vertex. I'm going to draw mine like about like that. And I'm going to label this acute angle as 60 degrees. Type to me in the chat what you think this obtuse angle is going to be. Okay, I have a few of you. What do you think? Straight line. What is 60? Okay. Then what is 80 plus 60? Okay, what should a straight line be? 80. All right, in the chat, I still have only heard, I've heard from 2 people, and we've got 11. So what's the missing angle going to be? If they're supplementary angles, and I know one of them is 60 degrees. All right, that's better. Good job, guys. Good participation. Okay, so should be 120 degrees because supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. Or we could say they make a straight angle. Okay, and so a little shortcut to remember that one. is supplementary starts with the letter S, and straight also starts with the letter S. And then the one thing I do want you to add to this, so a little note here, is that complementary and supplementary angles do not have to be adjacent. So these are adjacent. They share vertex and array. These are adjacent. They share a vertex and array. But you'll definitely see, like in triangles, sometimes you'll have pairs of complementary angles. And with some stuff we're going to do after Thanksgiving break, you're going to see lots of different examples of supplementary angles that are not adjacent. So let's put a little note. Complementary and supplementary angles do not have to be adjacent. All right, so make sure you've got that. Okay, we're going to take the 2-3 minute break here as the rest of the class joins us. Okay. Class, about time for you guys to wrap up what you're doing. You can put your iPad away for now. Make sure you have your foldable. Also, if you have color pencils or markers you want to use, you can get those out. And I think now we're all at the same spot. Sure, Nadine, maybe I finish up what you're working on there, okay? Okay, so we should be ready for vertical angles. This one, it might be nice if you have like a little straight edge, like the edge of your planner or notebook or something, or a ruler. If you have your own ruler, that's even better. You can make it work without, but I find we're going to draw, our lines are going to be a little longer for these, and sometimes it's hard to keep them straight. Okay, so for this one, we're going to draw 2 diagrams. We're going to draw a diagram here, And then we're going to put a definition on this side, and we're going to write some relationships under the diagram on this side. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw some vertical angles. And so to draw vertical angles, we need some intersecting lines. And so I'm just going to draw kind of like a flattened X like that. Okay. Kind of like that. But I am going to use my little straight edge here to draw it. So I've got one line like that and put arrows on the end. And then like this and put arrows on the end. And I'm going to label above the vertical angles. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through kind of why vertical angles have the relationship that they have. And we're going to do that by starting at one angle. So I'm going to label this angle right here as 50 degrees. So if your angles are kind of anywhere near mine, you can label that 50 degrees. I realize that's going to be an estimate. Those aren't exact. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work around the 4 angles in our diagram and see what we find out. Okay. So on the last slide, we talked about complementary and supplementary angles. I'm going to use this to kind of help point these out. So I've got this 50-degree angle right here, and I have the angle right adjacent to it. I'm going to label that in blue. Those 2 angles are what type of angles that form a straight line? Jacob? Supplementary, awesome. And supplementary adds up to how many degrees? Grant? 180. Awesome. So if we know that these 2 angles are supplementary and they add up to 180 degrees, what is this blue angle going to be? What's that measurement going to be? Levi? 130. Okay, so let's label that. Okay, so now let's keep working our way around this circle here, around the center point. So now we have this 130-degree angle, and we have this angle right next to it. These 2 angles, the 130 and then this pink one that is missing, those are what types of angles? Jacob, tell us again. Supplementary, very good, which means they add up to how much? Dad, you're good. 180. Okay, so then that means this pink angle is going to have to be how much? $50. Okay. So now let's keep going. So now we're going to do this pink angle here, that's 50. And then this last missing angle, I'm going to label this one in blue. So these 2 angles right here, this pink one and this blue one, have what type of relationship? What are they? I'm going to hear from somebody else. Supplementary? Good, supplementary. Okay, which means they add up to 180, which means what does this one have to be? 130. Good job. Okay, so what do we notice about the angles that are like across from each other? What are that?